Okay, you can do this. Hello everybody. Why are you using two hands? This looks stupid, man. Hello everybody and welcome to my talk at Laracon. My talk is called 10 tips to be more... Oh my god, don't touch the microphone. Don't touch the microphone. I told you so many times. Hello everybody and welcome to Laracon and my talk today, which is called 10 tips to be more productive with PhpStorm. And I wish we could all see each other at Amsterdam today, but yeah, that's not possible right now. So we have to, do these online things. But yeah, at least we can share knowledge and connect this way together. So I hope next time we will see each other again, person to person. If you don't know me, my name is Christoph Rumpel. I'm a web developer from Vienna. I do mostly PHP and Laravel. And I've been working now a few years with PhpStorm, and that's why I'd like to share, some of my favorite things that I learned on the way. You can find me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is Christoph Rumpel, where I share all the things that I do regarding my business and the PHP and Laravel things that I share. You can find my blog on christoph-rumpel.com, and I've also created a video course about how Laravel works under the hood, which is called Laravel Core Adventures. Okay, but I think let's dive right into PhpStorm tips and tricks now. And we're going to start with some easy ones and then I get a little bit more advanced on the way. So tip number 1 is about productivity. So in PhpStorm, there is a productivity guide. So if we go to help, you will find this productivity guide window. And what this does is it tells you about your productivity in PhpStorm, like the uptime monitoring or how much typos PhpStorm have saved me and how much characters PhpStorm saved me writing because it helped me with autocompletion and things like that. But more interesting to me are here those features. And here you can see the features, which group they belong to and how and when you have used them. So let's switch here to the most used ones and let's open up like the 10 most used ones here. And that's pretty interesting because here you can see the features that you're using the most. For me, each the recent files pop up. That's because I don't use tabs. So if I go to the last file, I'm using the recent files pop-up window. And then also syntax-aware selection or basic code completion, speed search and trees. And what you see already here for all those things, there you have some nice explanation down here explaining what the feature is. You sometimes also get a screenshot showing this. And that's pretty cool to see first what you're actually using. So these are the things that I use most, and also what you're not using. So there are a lot of things that I haven't used, like horizontal scrolling, it seems, database console, and all things like that. Oh, I've used that once. So it's interesting because sometimes I go here and learn about some new things and just see, okay, what's that? Can I use it? And does it help me with my workflow? And I really like to make a screenshot of the things that I'm using the most and share them with people. And I also love to see what they're using the most, because that's the way how we can learn from each other. What are you using the most? What am I using all the time? And that's how you learn new features. So I'm going to share my, let's say, 10 most used ones again. And if you could do this on Twitter, please, share them and link it to me. And I'm really eager to see what you are using. Okay, this was tip number 1. Let's move on to the second one, the change list. Okay, so I'm here in a project where I have Git installed. And by the way, here down there in the screen bar, you see all the shortcuts that I'm using. So if you're interested in what shortcut this was, you can see down here the name and the default shortcut in the operating systems, Windows or Linux. We're here in a Git repository. So you probably have noticed this before, but it took me quite long. So when I do some changes here, so if I change this list here, you can see here that we have this little bar here indicating that here was a change. And in my last theme, this color was quite the same as the background, so I didn't see that at all. But now with the dark theme, I see it pretty well. And if you go here, you can see that this is a change list showing what has been changed and in your repository on the stage, and you can easily roll it back like this. And that's pretty cool because if you have here, let's say a few changes, you can see them here in this file and you can easily revert them back. Or what you can also do is you can open up the diff window and see here, okay, what's different here? Okay, the here was added here. And this way, for more complex changes, you can easily see what has changed. And yeah, normally if you have different files where things change, you can easily revert those changes with Git. But if you have a few of them in the same file, then seeing those changes here is pretty handy if you just want to check them out or revert just a few of them. So keep that in mind, that you can see these changes here at the side and that you can revert them if you want to. Okay, let's move on. Tip number 3, go to test. That's also a simple one. I'm going here to a class which is called model exporter. And there's a shortcut in PhpStorm where PHP checks if there's a test for this class. And if there is, I can directly go to this class. So this shortcut is called go to test. And you can see now I'm immediately in my model exporter test. And this also works the other way around, going back to the test subject. And yeah, that's pretty handy. If you're in a test and you want to see the actual file, you can use the shortcut to switch to this class. Most of the times PhpStorm knows about the different, how they are connected, probably because of the name, but you can, or the class you're using inside the test, but you can also use inside your test in the doc block the covers. You can also use covers here and say that I'm using here the model exporter for the test. So you're covering this class here, and this would PhpStorm also tell and define the connection if it doesn't work automatically, but mostly it does. So that's also a short little tip. Okay, what next? Tip number 4, searching. Yeah, that's also an interesting one. So what I see most people doing in PhpStorm is using this global search. So yeah, this all search here, this tab here, you can search for anything. You can search for any file, any class. You can search for like the composer.json file and much more. And of course, you will find what you're looking for. But as you can see here with the tabs, you can also search just for specific classes, files, symbols, actions, and so on. And I noticed that this is pretty cool because the output is much better if you just search for something specific. Because mostly you already know what you're looking for. So maybe I want to go to the user class, then I know, okay, that's a class. So I can open just the class and look for this one here and go directly to the class. And you can see the output now it's much cleaner because it will only show me results that are connected to a class. Or if I want to go looking for the composer JSON file, I can type it here and I will also see a much cleaner output. And this way you will become much faster while searching. So these are the two ones that I use the most: search for a specific file and search for a specific class. And yeah, I would recommend checking out those shortcuts to become more efficient while you search for the things that you need. So tip number 5, settings. Yeah, since we were already talking about the search inside the global search, you can also trigger some settings. So for example, there is a status bar, if I can write it correctly here, and I can easily turn it on and off. And as you can see now, I'm at the button, I can show the status bar and now I can remove it again. So some of the settings that you can define inside your settings are directly connected inside your search. You can directly change them here. And for example, there's also like the navigation bar. And yeah, this works the same with this. And there are a lot of settings like this that you can easily swap. Or for example, I'm currently using the presentation assistant. which is a plugin, and you can easily turn a plugin on and off also like this. And I've noticed that this comes pretty handy, and many people don't know that this is possible, and they then go directly to the settings and then to the plugins, for example, but you don't have to do this. You can do this directly from your global search. Okay, tip number 6 is about initializing. So let's go to our model exporter class again. And normally when I start creating a class, I start by creating a constructor, and then I think about the dependency that I have. So maybe for this one, I have a user model, and then maybe I have an array of settings like that. And now what you also need is you need to define the properties and then set the properties here. And this is what PhpStorm can for you by using the show context actions. You can see here that we can initialize properties directly. And when I click it, I just have to select the properties, the dependencies from the constructor that I want to initialize. And now here they are being added to my class as properties, and they're also being defined here. This underline is just because we haven't used them yet. So this is why PhpStorm tells me that we should check this, but I'm fine with that. And what's also interesting is you can also do this the other way around. So let's keep the properties, but remove the constructor. And now with the generate command, I can generate a new constructor, and I can define these properties that I want to set within this constructor. And now this would give me the same result, a new constructor with the user and the array of settings. Of course, you can define if you need the stock blocks. Mostly I don't use them, or the same goes for this. You can also adapt this inside your settings. But it is pretty useful if you create new classes because you don't need to type all those things yourself. Of course, this gets now a little bit easier with PHP 8. Okay, move on. Tip number 7 is about if-else statements. So we have here a simple demo if-else statement. We're checking the type that we get. If it's premium, then we want to return. If it's not premium, we want to return all the users. And if it is, we want to return just the premium users. Okay, pretty simple. And there are a few things that we can do in PhpStorm with that. So first we can flip the if-else statements. So now we're checking if the type is premium, then we do this, else we do something different. And if I use if-else statements, I try to don't use negations too much, because this way it's much better to read, okay, if it's equals. Because in my head, not sure if it's the same for you, a negation is more difficult to handle. And when your if-else conditions gets more difficult, then this is also more difficult for your hand. So that's one thing you can do. Then also interesting, especially for little if-else statements like this, we can simplify them with PhpStorm. So now we can check if it's premium, then we want to go this, and we want to, we don't need the if-else statements for this. We can use this short syntax, which is in this case much easier to read. And then now my favorite one. Now this is only possible to a plugin which is called, let me just show it to you. Where do we have our plugins here? And then PHP inspections EA extended, which adds a little more and stricter inspections to PhpStorm and some nice features like this, for example. We can split the workflows here. And this is now my favorite solution, because now we don't have the else, and now the code gets immediately much more and much better to read. So we're first checking if the type is something. So these are our special conditions. Maybe we also have a multiple of them in the class. And then at the end, we have our default case. And now we can, when we look through this file, go through these conditions, and we can easily see, okay, if this, okay, and then something else. And we don't have to think about what is the else, what does it mean, what was the if again. And this makes your code much better to read and better to understand. And these are some nice little if-else features that PhpStorm provides you with. Oh yeah. Tip number 8, namespaces. Okay, so let's talk about refactoring namespaces. Let's open up our navigation tree here, our sidebar, and we have here a directory called helpers with 2 files here. And now we want to change the directory and the namespace to something like support. So what I've done in the past was something like this, using the refactor this context, which is already quite good because now PHP understands that we want to refactor something. And then I used the move file. And then I changed helpers to, let's say, support. And now you can see we have the support directory, but as you can see here already, the namespace didn't change. So this is now still wrong. And that's what I've been using a lot, and this is not how you should do it. So let's get back. So there are a few ways to achieve the same goal or a better goal. So first we can go to the file and then here on the namespace itself, check move namespace, because that's what we want to do. We want to move the namespace from helpers to support. So let's change this. Let's go to support. And here you can see, okay, the changes of the directory and also that the other file, the model exporter, will be used too. And that's fine with us. And now you can see the namespace is already correct, support, and now we have the support directory with both correct namespaces here and here. So that's already pretty good. But one thing that I don't like is here we have this helpers directory, which is now empty, but it wasn't deleted. So I would need to do this myself. But PhpStorm as always provides a few ways to do things, and one better way is now instead of moving the namespace, we can go of rename namespace. Now we rename it to support. Now you can immediately see that the helpers directory is gone. And now we have our support directory with the correct namespace. So this is now how we actually wanted to achieve this. And there's one more way we can do the same thing, which is by just clicking here the directory and using the refactor this feature on this directory and now rename it. So this is basically the same. We want it to be support. Here it is. Helpers directory is gone and we have the correct namespace for both our files. Yeah. So while you do refactoring, I'm pretty sure you have to use those features a lot to also refactor your namespaces. And it's good to know what PhpStorm provides you in this regard. All right, what do we have? Tip number 9, postfix templates. So this is also something that I didn't knew for quite some time, and I also notice a lot of other people don't know this. So there are lots of different templates in PhpStorm. So for example, there are live templates which have some syntax or trigger like this, and then I can easily write like in for each loop and get inside this loop. And yeah, there are a lot of things we can do. There's also one for while. Yeah, you think so? Not gonna happen. Nope. While. Nope, doesn't exist. You can try as long as you want to. Still doesn't exist. Maybe they didn't get it if you just switch to another one. And there's also one for switch, for example, and so on. So these are called live templates. But there are also postfix templates. And sometimes you have your variable already written, or you have some value here, and now you want to use a template on this given value already. And this is something you can do by typing a dot, and then you have templates that you can use. So for example, .if, which will make an if statement around the user, or .isSet, which is doing the same now with an if is set check, and so on. And when we go to our settings, let's search for postfix. Postfix completion, here you can see we have for a lot of different languages some postfix templates, and here, for example, we have also one where if expression is not null, or to return something, to throw something, to dump something. So there are quite a few of them. There's also one for the for each, I think it was, yeah. So now we can also use the for each on the user if you want to. And there's also one that I've defined myself, which is just a shortcut for dump and die. And if we go back to the settings, let's take a quick look how easy it is to define something like this. Let's go to PHP postfix templates. Yeah, so here you define how you want to start it. So I want the expression and start it with a DD, and then the result is just this. And now you can easily create some postfix templates for use cases, because in the end, all the templates, the given ones are nice, but you need to create the ones that you're actually using for your projects, because this will help your workflow a lot, so that you can use custom ones that really benefit to your exactly needs. But yeah, the next time you have already something written, yeah, just try this out, give it a try. And I think it's really nice that they are available as well. Okay, already number 10. I have already to admit that there is down there an 11th tip, because somehow I calculated my tips wrong. So I had 11 instead of 10. So this is why you get one more in just a bit. So, but now tip number 10 is also a little bit similar to postfix templates, because they're also kind of surround with features and templates. And for this, I'm going here to my plate file. And our goal here is we want to surround this link with an A tag to add a link to it. And what I've done for years was something like this. A and then tab to create and tag. And then let's say, yeah, want this to go there. And now, yeah, we need to remove this or copy this. Behind this, I mostly remove it and then edit the end tag here. And this is how I created lots of things like this for quite some years. Until I noticed that there's also a different way. So we can use the surround with feature in PhpStorm to add a tag for this link. Okay, so this works. We're going to select the part that we want to surround with, and then there is a surround with comment. And now this opens up this little window where we have some features. So for example, we can use live templates like surround with tag. So this is a custom one, default one that we can use. And now we can surround our selection with a tag. So in our case, this would be an A tag. And then I could already start writing the href, our destination. And here we have already our link. So this is now much more nicer to do this, because I don't have to delete and change how and where at the end text. Now I directly select this, because probably sure it's the same for you. You often end up writing this first, and then you need to surround it with something that you didn't know before, or you just did it the other way around. Okay, but there are some more features regarding surround with. So let's check out the window again. So as you can see, here is one template that I have already created, a custom surround with template. And what this does is it already adds the A tag and puts me here to write my destination. So this is how you can use custom surround with templates for your use case. And I needed this for my blog post a lot, so that's why I created one for that. And there's one more thing, which now gets even a little bit cooler. So you probably have already seen it, but we also have an emit feature. And emit, if you don't know it, is like a kind of tool that's been in editors for years, I think for 10 years already. And you have a kind of syntax that then generates to code. And we can use this in combination with the surround with here to surround our code with something. So if I want to create an H tag, I would type A and then the dot for adding some classes. So maybe text LG and then another one as text to XL and maybe padding Y4. And if I now click enter, I get this A tag created with all the classes that are defined. And I also get already inside the href to immediately define the link here. And now my link is gone. And this is pretty cool because now you can use Emmet to surround a selection with some custom HTML or different code that you just want to generate. And and for me, it turned out that the surround is something that I use a lot and I need a lot. So this is pretty cool to know about, that this feature is also possible inside of PhpStorm. Okay, so just one more tip that I have for you. And this one is about multiple cursors in PhpStorm. I know a lot of Sublime users love the multiple cursors are there for like forever, but we also have them in PhpStorm, and there's some different ways how we can use them. Okay, so when we think about when we need to use them, for me mostly it's when I need to change like the format of something, like I copy JSON into my code and then I need to change it to an array or something like this. Or here I also have a list of different strings. Now I need to define them to return here the types, which is an array. And now of course I can do this just one by one like this, but yeah, we are efficient developers, we don't have time for this. We want to use some shortcuts to help us with this, and multiple cursors here come really here to rescue us. So we can create multiple cursors the first way by using the Alt key and then click where we need them. Yeah, so just click and you get all the cursors and then you can do something. Okay, another way would be typing double the Alt key and then go down and up, and this will add or remove cursors to the line, which is also handy. Then you don't need to click with the mouse. And then another one here, we can make a selection and then use the shortcut add carets to the end of the selection. That is really helpful if you want to select a few lines and then add a cursor to the end of every line. And now we have the cursor here, and here we can just create our array how we would want to do this. And of course we could also now create an associative array.
A what?
Oh my god, I'm not sure how it's pronounced. Probably not like it did, but you know what I mean. And yeah, just this gives you the possibility to use multiple cursors in PhpStorm, and there are different ways to use it. So yeah, it's always good to know a few of them and just use the one that most come handy to your workflow. Okay, so these were the tips that I have for you today. Again, these are all very short tips that you can try out very easily and integrate into your workflow very easily. And the point here is all these little things will also have a big impact on your workflow when you use PhpStorm a lot like me. I use it every day, so all those little things will help me to be more efficient, be faster, and feel more comfortable in my favorite IDE. Okay, cool. Thanks everybody for watching. I hope there were at least 1 or 2 new things for you. It would also be cool to tweet to me about it, to Christoph Rumpel, how many of those tips were new to you. This will also help me a lot to know what are the things that people don't know yet. And I hope for everybody it was something in there that was new, and then that they or you learned something today. Okay, thanks again. I have some more resources. I did some videos for PhpStorm about my favorite tips for using PhpStorm for PHP and Laravel developers. So I will share this link as well, but here we have some videos about navigation, about styling, plugins, and live templates, and there also will be some more. So if you want to learn more in depth of the things that I showed you today, there are specific sections for those topics, so you can check this out on JetBrains TV on YouTube. And I'm also currently working on a new video course called Mastering PhpStorm. And with this video course, I want to help PhpStorm beginners, but also people like you who are already using PhpStorm a lot and want to learn all those little tips and tricks that help to improve the workflow. And here on this side, you can already subscribe for the email list where I'm going to update you about the process of this course and when there are first videos to check. And you can also help me define the content here by picking 3 topics. So if you're interested, for example, mostly in refactoring, debugging, and testing, then you can select them before you sign up, and I will get a list of those things, and then I can see what people are mostly interested in, and I can provide some more videos for those topics. So please check this out, the site masteringphpstorm.com. Subscribe for the newsletter. And thanks for having me again. Thank you, Laracon. I'm a big fan being here part again. I hope you're all fine wherever you are. Stay safe and hope to see you soon in real. Enjoy the day and thank you very much.